Guys, I have a confession to make. I'm not an RPG person. I know. It's not so much that I don't like the leveling up and the character building, although that is something that I'm not used to. It's more so I don't like the tropes that come along with most RPGs. RPGs like to focus so much on character building that they forget about the actual combat mechanics. Some RPGs create big, expansive worlds with nothing in them for the sake of making them big. I want to talk about how Mass Effect Andromeda takes what I don't like about traditional RPGs and puts it in a nice, neat little package that's easy for a guy like me to swallow. Special thanks to EA for giving us early access to the game and letting us capture footage. This video itself is not paid for, and my opinions are 100% my own. If you are an RPG traditionalist, don't worry. There are a ton of abilities and skills and weapons you can upgrade and tinker with and mold to your playstyle, whatever. I just want to shoot shit. I want to spend as little time in these menus as possible. The game slowly puts new weapons in your hands so that you can try them out and not feel overwhelmed. If you want new weapons quicker, you could always seek out merchants and buy them yourself. A little bit into the game, I thought, hey, why don't I have a sniper rifle? Then I almost immediately found a merchant selling one, and I used the hell out of it. I must have started off with a tactical cloak by default. I don't remember picking it if I did, but I like stealth, so I just stuck with that. If your playstyle is different, you can change it. My point is that I rolled with the cards that were dealt to me, and I was sucked in. I didn't give two hoots and a holler about where my skill points went. I just dumped them into whatever sounded cool. I don't care. Cool. I don't care. I was sucked in by, dare I say it, the actual gameplay. Shooting can be erratic, but if you focus on only shooting, you're going to have a bad time. You have to jump, hover, dodge. Movement is just as much a part of the gameplay as shooting. The evade mechanic emphasizes this. It's instantaneous, which makes it perfect when you're in a bind. Once you keep in mind that you can dodge backwards and sideways, it's essential for quickly getting yourself back to cover or away from the fight to heal up. The jump hover is great for getting the jump on enemies from over their cover. And these moves aren't clunky like the previous Mass Effect games. They feel like an extension of you, as controls should in any game. And the game knows this. There's lots of platforming sections sprinkled about to showcase the great feel of these mechanics. And if you don't quite make a jump high enough, grabbing onto the ledge and pulling yourself up also feels natural, just like it did in Mario 64. Remember that? Remember doing that for the first time? How good that felt? Then when you played a game that didn't have that, it felt like garbage? Now we just take that little tiny stuff for granted. It also took me a really long time to learn that there's a smash attack with the Omni Blade. Jump and melee attack to execute. It feels fantastic. And there's no cover button. Hell, there's not even a crouch button. You get to cover just by walking over to it. You don't snap to cover, you kind of just smoothly transition behind it. You don't have to think about it, it just happens. The ability to switch shoulders when aiming also helps gain you a better vantage point. In my opinion, more games need this. Squad commands become necessary when you have people like Cora, who keep getting ahead of themselves. Get back here, Cora! Stick to that cover, I'm not reviving you again! Cora! There's a weapon wheel for switching weapons. In most games, you hold down Y or the left bumper to bring up the weapon wheel. In Mass Effect Andromeda, you press the select button. Holding down the button holsters your weapon. This resulted in me holstering my weapon at the worst times, a lot of the time. It would also be nice to see a quick change weapon button. I only ever went into the weapon wheel to switch between my primary and secondary anyway. Why not make that what happens when you tap the button? And make holding it bring up the weapon wheel. Of course, this is a minor complaint. Literally everything else about the combat feels great. Combat should be the fun part of a game, not this. And BioWare knows this. So many RPGs spend way too much time giving you options that they forget about the payoff. The whole reason you're playing the damn game in the first place. I want action, and I want it to feel good. A deep and beautiful game cannot stand on its own without a fun, immersive, and exciting gameplay loop. Frustrating mechanics can take you right out of the fun. The whole reason for the VAT system in Fallout 3 is that the shooting mechanics were so bad. They spent so much time making the rest of the game awesome that they forgot to make the combat good. And as this is a Mass Effect game, there are RPG elements galore. Every new ability you unlock makes the combat that much more interesting. There are a litany of skills to unlock that will keep that combat loop fresh. There's general combat skills, biotics that are like force abilities, and tech, some of which are also like force abilities. This adds a ton of new game mechanics. Too many to give proper attention to in this video, but if you're interested in that, there's a video on the official Mass Effect YouTube channel that goes into all of that stuff. The goal here is to accommodate different playstyles. I like to go the stealth sniper route, with some close quarters assault abilities in case things don't work out so good, which often is the case. Some of the biotics are grenade-like, but some of them are new mechanics in themselves, like pull, shockwave, charge, backlash. If you ever get bored of one, switch to another way to toy with your enemies. If you're into that RPG stuff, it's there. But not once did I ever get over encumbered, so inventory management is not necessary. Thank God! If you want to explore the world and do all the side quests, you'll have a good time. I just want to murder things and plow through the story. And this game accommodates. More RPGs with a scope this big need to focus on what counts, the actual gameplay. Oh, and also the game is fucking gorgeous, but we can talk about that later. You can have sex with pretty much anybody you want if you'll work for it. So what do you guys think about the core game mechanics of Mass Effect Andromeda? Is this a game that you're excited for? Is this a game that you want to see more about? Leave it in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to touch that like button. I want to thank you guys so much for showing us the support you have been on our Patreon. Don't forget that if you want to see these videos early and give us feedback on them, you can join our Patreon at just the $5 level. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you to EA for sending me out to San Francisco to play this thing. And hey, have a good week.